Yeah, welcome back, everyone. We made it on tonight. We had to cancel the 4 auction, unfortunately.
Did you say the 4 bronies?
Yeah.
What's going on there? Where are they? I mean, every week they're supposed to be here and not happening.
Yeah, they're busy.
It's a figment of his imagination.
As I said, it'll be the apocalypse when they finally show up. That's what we know.
So one of the boys there unfortunately had something important come up, so that's all good. If we put it in footy terms, he's done his calf in the warm-up, so very late out. But thank you to you 3 guys for jumping on board so quickly. Otherwise, we wouldn't have got this going. So pretty stoked that we could get it going anyway, because I've had a lot of cancellations in the last few months.
It's really hard getting these things to work like for everyone, because we all have lives and life happens, and it's awesome that you got like a group that can jump in last minute and have some fun.
Yeah, I mean the guy that pulled out said, I'm so sorry, I feel like an absolute prick, and I was like, dude, like, shit happens, you got to deal with it, whatever. That's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Like, we'll move on. So hopefully we'll get them on next week. I don't know. I wish I had $1 for every time I said that.
You'd have at least $10 by now, I reckon.
Yeah, probably 10
plus.
So yeah, we'll thanks guys for jumping on. Yeah, it's very much appreciated. We'll say hello to the chat really quickly. Where is Wayno's little pony?
Old puffer in the house.
Ponies better not step on the puffer fish. Evening, Rack Raiders.
What's up?
Whoa, before they start, 8% beer must have gone to my head. What are you drinking 8% beer for? Jesus.
Nice beer.
Better get another. Christian, my man, how you going? Raucous Reg. Is it Raucous or Raucous?
It's Raucous.
Raucous Reg. Thrift and Oz Style. Daniel Son, how you going, mate? Furlong.
Chris.
Hi.
Anthony Moore. Scotty. It is warm inside, absolutely insane weather outside. I'll tell you what, I was outside today for about 3 or 4 hours in shorts, t-shirt and thongs, and by the end of it I was a little bit cold.
I think you boys over in the bloody eastern states better start building arcs. It's fucking just pissing down rain again, isn't it, over in New South Wales?
Yeah.
And that's I shouldn't joke about it because it's like pretty serious, but it's just been smashing down over there, and I feel sorry for anyone in the path of it, but far out.
Yeah, sort of southwest Sydney area is pretty hectic at the moment. So
I had the footy on before, Greater Western Sydney, and they were saying they were expecting 100 mils today or something. So it pissed down the whole game. So
they've said over 32,000 people are expected to be evacuated tonight from their homes.
I didn't realise it was that bad. Shit.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
Yeah. Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah. Books along with stuff.
What's up?
Cara. What's up, chaps and chaps? Nelly. How you going? Chris collects things, and he also sells things. Good evening from the Chris collects underground bunker. I hope you're not getting it too bad there.
Is he hiring that off Octo or what? Because I thought Octo controlled all the underground bunkers around here.
Yeah. The silence says everything.
What's it going right?
Percy Flips, Dave, Recommerce Dave, Tash, how you going? Cheers. Avenged Sevenfold. Great band. One of the few bands that I haven't seen live that I want to see. There's probably only about 3 or 4 that I haven't seen. Lozzie. Mike Bromley. Matilda. Hi guys, and Octopus. Mountain Culture is what I'm drinking, and it's the most amazing beer ever. Yes, better than a VB. Well, Judd, I might take you to task on that one.
I don't think it's too hard to be better than VB, though. I mean, it's not a high task.
It's not setting a high bar, is it?
No.
It's all fun and games at Cara's house tonight.
Oh, taxes, stupid. And like with us changing over businesses and stuff, trying to get that right, been fun.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Mossy, how you going? You're here. Glorious over here in Perth. Yeah, I put me friggin' bets on for the GWS game before I looked at I never look at the weather. I'm like, you idiot! I've put like friggin' Mitch Lewis in for 3 goals. he's not even going to touch the ball. And then I checked the Perth game and it's all sunshine and rainbows over there. So, yep, I work in a landscape yard and my turf guy will be flooded again and we'll lose. Wow, that's crazy.
Oh, shit. Yeah. And that's the thing that we don't really think about with these things, like all those businesses and, they get flooded out and can't afford to have insurance and then have to,
Yeah.
Or you just can't get insurance on some of that sort of stuff. Like turf guys are normally in floodplains and so they just can't get it. Farmers are the same for a lot of their gear because they're always on floodplains and stuff. So I've got a bunch of mates that are all dairy farmers around here and the amount of they've been hit the last couple of months has been crazy.
Yeah, no good over there.
Wow. Country Aussie Thrifter, how you going? I'm doing a stock take, not too far off being done. Nice.
Fun.
All right, sweet. That's the chat caught up with. We'll have a little bit of a chat first. Bohdan, how you going? You're at the back end of COVID.
I am on the back end of COVID, so I was pretty lucky that our family copped it all pretty much within 2 days of each other. I've had friends who they've copped it for like 5 days and then the kids got it after, or the kids had it for 5 days first and they copped it and it edged out. But thankfully for us, we all got it at the same time. It was pretty minor. I was probably the worst of the bunch, just feeling lethargic and the cough. So I was up till about 3:30, 4 o'clock last night, just coughing every 30 seconds. So that's the only thing I got left. But like our eldest, he was asymptomatic, no issues. Our youngest had a couple of coughs earlier on in the week, and my wife had a cough as well. So I've been lucky in the sense that I've still had a fair bit of energy towards the end of the week, and that my wife's still been going. Like she's still been here spot because I'm using her laptop tonight because she's gone out for a shop because she's free today. She's gone to do a shop and I'm sitting in her study while the boys are going to sleep upstairs. But she was still sitting here doing all of her uni work, doing 10, 12, 14-hour days of study while coughing her guts up and having COVID. So good on her.
Yeah. The last few months, I have just had that many things wrong with me, and I haven't had COVID yet, so I'm just totally.
It's not just the last few months, Wayno. What are you talking about?
yeah. That's a very good point.
It's a lifelong affliction, that one.
Yeah. I think I had like 4 things in a row. Like I got over it the next day. I got something else. I was like, "You fucking prick!"
Been our house as well.
My poor Mars. She still sounds.
If she does, I'll hire her.
Laugh, but it's fun. A lot of people are just. There's a lot of people that are. It really affects for a long time. Like, I remember I watched an interview with Maynard from Tool, the band Tool, and it was about 9 months after he had it. This was before they had boosters, like booster shots and stuff. Like this is a couple years ago, and the interview was like 9 months after he had it, and he said he was still fucked. All these muscles in his joints and stuff were all messed up. So
I got to say, I don't know about you guys if you've ever used the time away mode. So I put my shop in time away mode. I've still listed 5 things a day because that's kind of where I'd been at. But surprisingly enough, I've still had over 20 sales, and it's been one of my biggest weeks. I mean, that will come down to 2 big items that I sold this week, obviously, which helped. But I've still had some good regular sales that if I didn't have those 2 items, it still would have been a pretty comfortable week. I was pleasantly surprised at how the time away mode actually operated and how I've continued to have that interaction with customers coming into the store and being able to still list things. So it was good.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be a lot better than it ever used to be. I remember like 2-3 years ago, you'd do it and your store would like almost disappear. So
yeah, that's right.
Seem to fix things up a bit on the back end, and like you can sort of adjust a few settings as well. Like you can do like you don't want sales or you do want sales. I don't know why you wouldn't want sales, but you know.
My store really took a hit the last couple of months. Like when I had the flu and then I hurt my bloody rib coughing, I didn't list for like a month, and it's only just this weekend. Like it slowly been picking up the last couple of weeks. I've been listing like nuts the last few weeks, and this weekend it's just gone gangbusters, back to how it used to be. So it takes a while to bloody build it back up, eh?
Yeah. We've seen that, like, because when we moved, we kind of took a week and a half off of listing regularly because we just had shit everywhere and trying to move. And it's only just starting to come back up to where it was before. And we've been smashing probably triple, maybe quadruple our normal listings amount each day for the last sort of 4 to 5. So I'm hoping that it just keeps going that way instead of flattening.
Yeah.
Well, I had the same thing happen when I transitioned because I was doing 10 a day minimum, like before I went back to full-time work. And once I transitioned back to full-time work, I went to 5 a day, and sales just tanked. And it took about 6 weeks of being at that 5%, five listings a day before I got back up to what I would call, a reasonable amount around that $1,000 a week sales. So it's just, you change anything and it seems like the algorithm gets affected. That's the reality of it. So,
yeah.
You should have kept your DVDs. They're that fucking quick to list. You could list your 5 items and then 5 DVDs a day.
Yeah, right? Unless they're French.
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes you 6 times longer to list the French one.
I swear I was speaking French at the end of it.
I'm about to get into a whole bunch of the old school classics. So I think they're going to take me a bit longer because I don't actually know the movies. So it's a lot quicker if you know the movies. You're just typing out the title. You already know who's in it and stuff. You just chuck their name at the end. Like, whereas these ones you're like looking on the back and shit.
Yeah, we've been doing some similar thing to Octo because Daniel had a whole bunch of like international DVDs, like all these musicals and stuff that are in French and other crazy languages, and trying to like even write a title for it is like almost impossible because you go to type something and it auto corrects to like an English word and you're like, no, like I'm actually trying to type something stupid because I type stupid stuff all the time. So it's kind of like trying to fix me, but I'm actually trying to spell something in French.
Yeah,
man, some of the shit your phone comes up with, I can only imagine how frustrating.
He's just having a stroke, mate. He's blaming it on the phone.
Yeah, well, sometimes I think I might be, because some of the times I go to type something in chat and it's like not even close to what I'm trying to type. So I don't know if my brain's just working too quick for the keypad or my thumbs are too fat or something. I don't know what
happens. I can't even remember the last time I had sickness. I had a cold. I don't know. I was weird with colds, like with the flu. I used to get them all the time. This was pre-2010. 2010, I got glandular fever, like real fucking bad. And I didn't have the flu for a good 7 or 8 years after that. It was unbelievable. And now I get them all the time again. Really strange. As a teacher on school holidays, have been able to focus my energy on reselling 400. Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. How much do you list daily, Uncle? Well, lately it's been consistent. Usually it's not. DVDs are a lot quicker to just list than anything else, pretty much. So I've been doing 30 minimum, anywhere between 30 and 80 a day. So the days where I'm doing 30, I'm sorting other stuff out as well. Like I had my folks coming around this morning, so I had to figure out when I was going to do my listings today. So I did 23 in the hour before they got here. So it's pretty quick to do.
You're just all eBay as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're just doing like DVDs over and over again, like it just becomes second nature, most of it. Like, I use templates and I literally only have to type the title out and click 3 things and add the photo and I'm done. So it's pretty quick. Love the Disney collection, Bohdan.
Okay. That's some
It was
cool
a good
stuff.
one. Yeah, it's fun, you know, one of those things where, I mean, and you'll probably hopefully get some of this as you go forward, I guess, Brad, with like your new venture, of that you'll have that mix of stuff you buy, stuff you're selling on consignment or dealing with, etc. You know, all that sort of stuff. And those consignment ones can be really interesting because sometimes it's things that really put you out of your comfort zone and make you try something different. And that's where some of this is. You know, I've had consignments of women's shoes as well, which have really pushed me into women's clothing and women's shoes a little bit. Not that I stayed there. I'd list them and then run away from it because there's just so much shit. I don't know how that people deal with women's clothes. But yeah, it's really cool getting that because there's so much like sentimentality around that collection as well. And knowing them, the family, yeah, it's really cool to be able to be entrusted with that as well. So, yeah.
I think there's huge value in that, like trying new things, because the more that you try, like you might find a category that you're like, oh shit, like there's really good value in this. I really enjoy listing it. I can find this pretty easily. And then you might want to niche down to that. But I think you should try like a wide range of things to start with so you get your head around what works for you. And if you can get enough of it to keep your store going to where you want to be, like I couldn't niche to just clothing because now we have massive overheads that we need to pay for. So it's kind of like we have to keep expanding our knowledge over and over.
My store pooped itself after I asked eBay to step into an item not received case. It's really shit, isn't it? Like they punish you like you're. They punish you as if it's a common thing for you to for it to happen to you. Like if it's these sort of things are pretty rare for like if you know what you're doing on eBay. They don't happen that often. Like and they really it's like a really harsh penalty. Like
and also for bigger stores that like, you know, because Thrifty Pixie isn't selling, you know, 1 or 2 items a week, you know. That she's got a big store and you send so much stuff, you have so much volume that you're always going to have these failures occasionally. And for them to go, well, we're going to ping you essentially, however that's the algorithm or whether it's something manual, I don't know, but it just seems to happen. You're like, why is that? Even with returns, you get stung for a return and it's like, why? If you're encouraging me to have that as something available on my store, free returns, because it ranks me better, should it not then not negatively affect me when I actually accept a return? Like, isn't that the whole point? You're encouraging people to do that, but by the actions of your algorithm and how it works, you're discouraging people.
The other thing is most of the time it's not a failure on the seller's part. It's a nuffy buyer or Australia Post or something else.
Well, with Tara, she sent it to Japan and she went into My Post Business and somehow the address hasn't appeared. So it just says Japan. So it says it's delivered to Japan, but it won't tell her it's delivered to the person. So they found it in her favor yesterday and then they overturned it in the buyer's favor today. So it's like this big like circle jerk of like crap that's like irrelevant because like we're using My Post Business, which connects to eBay. So it's like out of our hand, right? Like it's what can you do? Like what can you do? Nothing.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. My partner is French. Oh, there you go, Octo. Just get Percy to help you out.
That's all right. How much for him or her?
She's French. Just, you know, threaten them. She'll wave the white flag and come do what you like.
I had some snails going in the backyard. I might just throw them.
What is it? Fromage? No, what is
Incado, isn't it?
Salted butter and baguettes.
Okay.
So, excuse me. How is the warehouse going, Brad?
Yeah, slowly starting to get into some sort of routine that we're happy with. I think it's just going to take us time to keep developing those processes. And obviously there's 3 stores coming together. So there's always a bit of like, how do we do things and making sure that everyone's happy with the way we're doing things. But yeah, realistically, we've sort of got to where we need to be pretty quickly. And then anything after that is just obviously bonus. And yeah, I think over time it's only going to get better and better because we're not really sourcing at the moment. We're just trying to get through Daniel's backlog of stuff. And we had already bought all these really good stuff off him over the last sort of 6 to 8 months. So it's kind of now like we're listing DVDs, which we probably wouldn't normally do, but there's some good DVDs in there. Then he's got like paintings that are worth, anywhere from like 100 to well over 1,000. That's something that we've never shipped before. So it's kind of like we're learning a lot really quickly. and it's just going to get better and better over time, I think. So.
With that, like watching your videos recently, you've been talking about like Thrifty has her store that she's selling stuff through, and you guys talk about your stuff. Have you actually still got your individual stores active until the end of the financial year? Was that how it was working?
We're still keeping all the stores active because there's kind of different things that are going in each store, and it'd be silly for us to kind of delete an account that has really good standing and sell through and activity on it and try to start from fresh. So ours is staying up, Cars is staying up. Daniel's is going to become like a bit of a really high-end store. So when we do find those like $1,000 plus times, we're going to have like a really unique sort of store there where it's like going to be really high-end items and probably not shown as much on socials and eBay and stuff like that, because he's a bit more of a private person than most of us, sort of us and Cara, I suppose. But I do believe he's agreed to come on this show in a few weeks' time, so that'll be really interesting.
We don't want to ask too many. I've got heaps of questions I want to ask, but yeah, we're going to have all 4 of the guys, guys and girls, on the show in a few weeks. I think we've organised it for a few weeks time. Yeah, I don't want to make any promises anymore.
And it will be good because, like, obviously you guys see us all the time. You see Cara through us and on her Instagram. But having like all 4 of us and Daniel's side of it, I think will really like solidify what's happening, because I think it's really hard for us to tell the whole story without them being there. I think that'd be a really good chat, actually.
I just think it's super exciting because the greatest thing looking from the outside is the way that you've all got your own niches and knowledge and understanding, and you're not treading on anyone's toes. That's what I think is amazing, that you've all come together with such a breadth of knowledge and understanding that you're going to be able to work together, assist each other, educate each other, and grow, which I think is so cool. Like, absolutely.
I think that was the biggest advantage of this whole situation is like we always go out to Cara. You know, sometimes Jazzy would find a really nice piece that like would fit Cara's store. And it's like now we can just like pass that on to her and it doesn't matter because it's all the same money. And Daniel was like educating us on stuff that we would never usually pick up. Like, I can't even explain to you, like his knowledge is just like next level. Like I probably know like 1% of what he knows. So it's just
a few months ago you were selling sailboat shit or something.
Yeah. Like I would have never picked that up, right? And it sold for a couple $100. Like it's just insane. And having Cara there, bringing her knowledge in areas that we have no idea about, and obviously me and Jazz have little things that we picked up over the way. It's just like instead of having these little bits of knowledge, you're like all pulling it together, you're sharing that knowledge, and when you go out picking, you see more things because you've learned more things. So it's just you're maximizing your time as well, which is just really interesting.
Yeah, I've found that recently.
I was just going to say, on when you're going out thrifting together, you might see things that you know are valuable, but you wouldn't normally pick up. But if it's in their category now, you can pick it up, kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Yeah, and I've found recently, like going after some of the antique stuff that I've been dealing with my mate Brody, like it's really cool to be able to have your eyes spot other things. Where in the past, I'd walk past some of those aisles that had just, antiques, ceramics, whatever, and wouldn't know what is what. But starting to learn it makes it more valuable and more interesting.
Absolutely. And it kind of, I find when you're in op shops, you're just trained to look for things that like, Wayno, for example, you go to DVDs, right? And you can kind of scan and go, I need that one, and that one. But once you start learning more and more things, like, it's like things just start popping out that you've never seen before. It's like, oh, that's worth something. Whereas before you would have walked straight past it and not even like had a second glance. Like, it's crazy.
It's like those everyone's all over them now because of Bianca, those genie lamps.
Oh yeah.
Like if I saw one of them in the past, I'd just think it's a piece of shit.
You don't know until you know. And that's the advantage of not only our situation but the whole community, right? Like the more you watch other people and the more you interact with other people, the more you learn. But we're just lucky that we have that knowledge in one warehouse where we can kind of go, hey, what's this? Or like, I saw this today. What do you think of it? You just learn a lot quicker. I've found over even 2 weeks. Like,
all right, I'll hold my other questions for you until it's time.
Yeah, we'll I'll have heaps of questions on us, but we will wait till everyone's on here.
Definitely.
Octo, how's be remiss of me not to ask, how's world domination going?
It's going pretty good with the floods, mate. I've been able to drag some more ships under the water.
Yeah.
Living up to Uncle Kraken. Other than that, mate, it's been pretty slow.
That's good.
Been up in Newcastle, invading up there this weekend, but other than that, not too bad.
That's where I think that's where Chris Collectings is from, is it? Yeah.
I've seen him in the op shop looking at the old lady bras.
All right, so we're already halfway through the show, pretty much. It's crazy. We've just been chatting. Show and tell. We weren't sure if we're gonna do it or not because it was super short notice. But you guys were all happy to bring something along. So I don't know who wants to go first.
Give it to Bohdan. He's all over it.
I'll start off. We've got
some time to kill.
3 things I thought I'd give a bit of show and tell.
Oh Jesus, mate! Don't tell us.
The first one was talked about last week, so I thought I'd show it off just because, we talked about it last week and it's sold this week. So the Dean Solomon Grand Final 2000 Essendon player issued jersey has sold this week. So that went for $900. So
that's insane. That is a crazy find. Like, I think you need to tell the story about that because it got thrown around our chat a little bit. And then Judder told you to turn around because you're 20 minutes down the road or something. So I heard you lost a few tires.
Yeah, so pretty much like I went down to Maruya for the morning to go see some clients and they've got a Vinnie's there and I walked in for like coffee break and I have a quick look whenever I'm there, just have a quick look. And I saw that and I don't know, I don't know AFL stuff very well. I don't know what teams sell well. So I was like, I took a photo of it and I sent it to Judder and I'm like, do I get it? And he didn't come back to me while I was in the store. I grabbed a couple other things that were on that I had in my hands and left that, put that back on the shelf and kept moving. Sorry. It's fun.
You sound like a pack a day smoker, mate.
I used to be, so who knows? So I left it and I went off and saw some customers. I started driving back up towards Bateman's Bay and I got to Mogo. So Mogo is about 25 minutes out of Maruya, 10 minutes out of Bateman's Bay. And I got a message from Judder that was pretty much, what the heck are you doing? You better have that in your hand. If not, turn around and go back. And I'm like, well, I'm turning around and going back. Turned around very quickly where I was. Thankfully, I was at a corner and was able to turn in, do a Yui and run back. And by the time I got back there, it was still there. So super lucky. And I want to say, like, this is one of the things I love about the community is that Judder was so happy to share his knowledge and share his wisdom on that. It wasn't a question of, you owe me anything or anything like that. It was just, this is the reality of it. And to also say, like, it probably could have sold for a lot more than 900, but I didn't want to be a greedy prick. I had a collector who'd messaged me on it, came at me with one price. He came up to close to $1,000, which I was happy with. And like I say, from 25 to 900, I'm not going to complain.
That every day of the week.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's not like Judder chucked it in our chat because we've been talking about it a little bit lately because player issues and match ones have just been popping up everywhere. We were sort of talking about it like we're not sure if Judder's just getting more people actually finding them like and sending them to him, or if there are just more of them out there all of a sudden or whatever. But yeah, he put it in the chat to us and we were like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. I think
it's 6 to 1 and a half a dozen the other. Like you're seeing every week nowadays, there's different liveries and they're doing it in all the car racing as well. The V8s have different liveries each week and stuff like that. So I think it's becoming more and more prominent because it lets them, sell more product. It lets them have more sponsors, all that sort of stuff. So I think within that realm, marketing wise, it's definitely like taken off to have more jerseys and alternate jerseys and all that sort of stuff. But that being said, that was the big one that I wanted to show. But I know that part of like show and tell, I thought I'd show something I haven't listed yet, but I just found interesting. And this is part of that whole opening your eyes up to different things. Now, I don't do a lot of bags, but I found this bag. And it's just such a random.
Owns that, though.
Looks like glass got burnt.
Just a really cool bag. It's called a Mad Packs bag, and it's just a backpack that just ultimately just looks really crazy. So it has like a crocodile skin texture to it. It's got these spikes on it, and is out of the US. And I just found it one day. I picked it up for $9. It will sell for around $60 to $80. Because and that'll be dependent on the time when I list it. It's going to be something I put up probably towards the start of the year, so students going to school, etc. That's why I haven't stressed too much about it.
I'd put it up near Halloween, mate, or Comic Con.
Yeah,
Halloween or Comic Con.
Yeah. I'm more thinking like uni student, school kids wanting something different, but
someone would repurpose that for Comic Con, man, as part of their costume, like Bowser or something.
It is just such a really cool bag, and they have a whole bunch of different types, but they sell super quick whenever they get listed. And again, normally I wouldn't look at it, but it was just a bit different. And that's, I think, sometimes what you got to do. You got to let your eye catch what's different and what's interesting, and then follow that path. But yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to sort of show off is just, personal show and tell. Who doesn't love show and tell? I haven't done this since I was a kid. But one of the things I've done over the last 12 months since I sort of started reselling, it's been almost 18 months now, I started spending too much money on cards, sports cards.
Don't we all?
No, mate. Yeah. So I just thought I'd show, and mainly because I want to shout out the guy. If you are a sports card collector and you don't know who Tyson Beck is, I can only encourage you to go and find out who he is. He's a local Adelaidean who works at Tops and a whole bunch of other different people. But this is my Grail card here. I had a goal this year to pick up this, not this one card, but a Giannis auto card. And pretty much about 3 weeks after I told my wife that it was what I wanted to do this year, he dropped that he was going to do a Giannis release. And so I was just like, that's it, it's done. I'm getting one, don't care, it's happening. And so that then became like a birthday/Christmas present for me. So yeah, just really enjoy it. I mean, the market's a little bit down at the moment. My wife's home, that's why the dog's just moved off the bed behind me. But yeah, the market's a bit down at the moment on that, on cards, and that's fine. I don't mind that. But yeah, just really, I mean, Wayno, I bought a couple from you from memory early on. And so how did we first talk? Because you were like, I'm Wayno from reselling, and this card's coming to you. But yeah, it's one of those things that I love and really enjoy, and I've gotten to
should have just sold your body to science and pay for it.
I've dropped right off it. Like, I'm right off the cards now. Like, the value in them has dropped. It's not why I've dropped off it, but the value in them's dropped massively, and it's because Panini just pumping out so much fucking shit. Like, they've lost their contract. I think they lose it in 26, 27, something like that. So they're just fucking pumping out release after release after release. Rookie cards aren't worth anything because there's a million of them. Like, it's just, it's real. They just sort of shit me. Like, there's a lot of crappy releases, and I just got over it. That Tyson Beck though, I wanted to ask you, how is the demand for them? Because I remember his first release. If it was at Tatum, maybe it was Tatum.
Yeah,
I remember it was massive hype around it, but then it just sort of tanked.
There's still huge demand, like massive demand around his stuff because it all is always limited. It's normally, it's so short printed, and the names that he's been getting recently, like doing Khabib and the Hezbollah, whatever his name is, the little dude that goes along with Khabib. They're sort of like one of a kind sort of runs that you just don't get. And Giannis doesn't sign anything realistically anymore. Like, he's currently in a legal dispute with Leaf because they had the contract for his auto, which he wanted out of, and they were using the Greek freak term, which he doesn't believe they had rights to. So there's a whole bunch around it. But that's the reality, is that some of the people he goes after, and when he gets them as well, like Steph Curry, he had Curry autos on card ready to go for him becoming the number one 3-point scorer in the NBA, like that sort of stuff. Like, he just seems to just like be in the right spot at the right time with these key moments. That the first couple of runs he did were just to sort of like, expose himself and get some, stability within the marketplace. But now, like he said, like the last 2 runs that he did were just, they sold out within about 30 seconds. It's so hard to get one of his cards now. And, there's so many bots that are like smacking his thing because he's trying to sell them himself. He's trying to manage it all himself, and he's trying to release it so it's not able to be dealt with by bots, by like releasing access codes, like 5 minutes beforehand and stuff like that. So people can't have their bots all ready to be painful. But, that still happens. But yeah, it's just crazy, like the interest and the hype that he does get, because, there's just so much, as you say, so much of just the exact same rubbish that comes out. And like you look at the LeBron like triple logo man that sold last week at Golden, like it wasn't autoed. It was one of a kind. And yes, it was like the logo man from 3 of his teams, but it wasn't anything really special. Like I wouldn't have been excited to get that from one of my guys. I just don't find that an interesting card, yet it was dubbed like the #1 modern sports card and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, it's interesting.
It ended up selling for a fair bit less than they thought it was going to as well.
A lot less.
Yeah. I think it sold for 3 million or something, and they're expecting 7 or 8 or something like that.
Yep.
We'll catch up with the chat. My mum.
Hey.
She figured out how to work the chat.
Good on it.
You can't see the chat unless you're in the YouTube app. You can't if you just go to Google. So my mum was just watching you click the link on Instagram, just takes you to YouTube through Google, and then it doesn't show you the live chat.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah, you got to go into the app to see the live chat.
That's odd.
So, and yep, it's my mum. Big shout out to my mum and dad. They came over today, and they spent hours in my garden and my lawns. It was way overgrown because I've been sick. My back's stuffed. I can't do it myself because my back is absolutely stuffed. So they did it. They got crook backs as well, but they came over and did it. They're not as bad as me. So
did they get the high pressure hose out and give you a scrub?
No response there. No response.
The funny thing is, Mum even went and bought lunch, and afterwards I was thinking, I probably should have done that.
She'll get you back.
Amazing sale on the jumper, yeah, definitely. Secondhand Gang Vic, how you going?
Yep.
Ankylosaurus. Bandit, how you going, mate? Shout out to Bandit. He is a mate of mine through the card community as well. He's not a reseller. He is a hoarder. He goes to the thrift stores and he buys books, collects books. Big shout out, because he has probably been along with him and Nikki, have been my #1 supports from outside the reselling community. Always watching, always liking, always commenting. So, yeah.
And it's good he's got his own TV show now with his kid as well.
I get the reference, mate. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't.
They don't.
You got to have kids. Show and tell with the knowledge bombs. We've only gone through one. We're fucking 40 minutes into the show. It's spectacular. See you later, Octopus.
I'll go out an emergency.
It does remind you of Sonic the Hedgehog, that bag.
I've no idea what Brody is talking about. I'd come by your lawn. All right. On your bike, Shane. Is your warehouse open to tourist visits, Brad?
We haven't opened the museum yet. Maybe one day. We're thinking we'll probably do some like warehouse sales at some point. Like once we've got through Daniel's stuff, there's going to be a lot of stuff there that like may not work on eBay, but definitely would be worth like doing a garage sale type thing. So probably going to do that at some stage. But I don't know. It's kind of like I'm a bit nervous to let people in the warehouse because you got all the health and safety stuff along with it as well, and there's crap everywhere. So, yeah, maybe one day.
I could see like doing storage units, having the warehouse to be a lot easier in the sense like, you've got somewhere to be able to like sell stuff through. and store stuff. So if you've got some of that furniture, you can have those car park sales where, yes, you don't let people into the warehouse, but you put it out in the car park and you just flog it off for whatever. You keep the good stuff that you know is worth listing and making good money from, and the other stuff you can just flog off and sell for cents to the dollar kind of thing.
Again, I won't go too much detail because the future plans of the chat for Wayno, but we've definitely got a lot of things planned, and we are like building an actual brand around the company as well. So that'll open up a lot more doors that we haven't explored just yet. To just, I think the more avenues of income you can have coming in a place like that, the better. So we're working on a lot of things behind the scenes as a team to get this done, and it's probably not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen the next 3 months, but that 6, 12 months, 24 months, it's all going to keep rolling and rolling. So big plans ahead.
Maybe it could be another up shop. You too, my man. And yes, he's the big Bruno Fernando. I don't even know if Bruno Fernando's still in the league. He collected Bruno Fernando, and I collected Ignis Brazdeikis. They were both cheap as fuck. Like, they just were so cheap to buy. Like, you could get really high quality cards for like $10. So
I think that's one of the things I've enjoyed as well, Wayno, is picking a couple of players that were cheaper that I could follow and really, really, segment on. I've got a mate in my town who is also a collector, and same thing. He picked a guy, and the number of 101s and all that he's been able to pick up from around the world, like so cheap, is just crazy because, they produce them and people don't pick them up, and he just grabs them cheap, and that's his PC, and he's happy.
Stock market game there.
Mark out the man cave in the warehouse.
Nah, we man, I feel like this is all coming out before the episode's ready. But we've got like an upstairs and a downstairs office, and we put nothing in it just yet. So there's plans for that to occur in the future.
Tell everyone they've got to come back in a couple of weeks and hear.
Yeah, come back for the actual chat with everyone involved, because
you need a spot to keep Kara's Velociraptor, Mum. Put her on a leash or something.
We should create a little cage and it'll be fine.
I think we were talking the 24th of July, so hopefully
that's the plan.
That'll be the day. Who wants to go next?
I don't know about Man Cave, Kara says. I think it's more not so much a man cave, but I think it's going to be like where we put all the stuff that we all collect and like have a couple cool little pieces in there to make it like comfy. So we'll call it the shared cave.
Hopefully Jazz is sleeping on the floor now. I don't even understand that.
I don't know either.
Relax
cave. Yeah.
All right. We'll go to the octopus. You can go next.
I was going to stand really still so no one could see me. Anyway, so because I had like 3.5 minutes notice to work out what show and tell is, and I was hoping Bohdan would talk till the end of the show. I'm a big advocate.
I was really trying to.
Everyone laughed when I thought I was going to crack out this, but everyone bundles them up. I sell them as consoles only, like as replacement consoles. You just test them. You don't need your cords. You don't need your controllers. And they sell every day of the week. So I normally sell the fat console for about $80. It fits into a large post office box, and it goes out the door. Like, literally takes you 2 seconds to reset it, and that's it. You don't have to worry about all those different things. The things that I worry about with bundles is that your INADs, so basically if one of the controls is shot or one of the directional buttons don't do as they're told, you potentially lose the bundle and you got to return the bloody thing. But if you sell the console by itself as a replacement console, I sell on average about 6 a week, so they fly out the door pretty quick. So, they're not sitting on the shelf for any length of time. And a Facebook Marketplace on the weekend, you pick up 4 or 5 of them, $15 to $20 each. So,
and there's like certain PS3 models that are worth more because they've got like
there is. So what you need to look for, for the original model. Karen. It's hard being an octopus. So basically this black bit here will actually fold up. And from memory, it's the 60 gig model. You can boot it up. I don't know what the serial number is. You'll be able to Google that. But you're looking
at
have
4 USB ports as well.
Yeah, so
They've reduced it back to 2, so it has 4. Pretty much is the biggest thing. If you look at the USB ports at the front.
So if you open that up, you're halfway there. So you got one of the original models, and like you said, it's backwards compatible with PlayStation 2. So you're looking at a bit of money for that. I don't know what it is now, but it was up to about $800 at one stage.
Yeah, and there's one thing I can guarantee you about that. Pete's gonna fucking hate you guys for bringing that up.
What's that? The PlayStation.
Pete's not here.
Yeah. He gets shitty with us for bringing up the little secrets.
The thing
I
is,
don't know secret about that. I'm sorry, that's well known.
Yeah, and the thing is with that, like, you're more likely to find that like when you're out garage sale hunting or like in an op shop. Like, yes, people are going to put them up on Facebook Marketplace, and you might miss out on 1 or 2. But that kind of knowledge is more like when you're out hunting, because people are probably going to underprice them at places like that. Whereas if they're putting them up on Facebook Marketplace, yes, you might get an underpriced one, but chances are they're probably going to know what they've got if they've got that particular one. So I don't feel like that's a big secret. I feel like that's like good knowledge to have.
Yeah. And a lot of op shops wouldn't even know.
Wouldn't know.
Yeah, they basically, like, the black thing hinges.
Yeah.
Using screen octopus.
Yeah.
We actually have a pretty dope new vacuum. Said like a true one.
We went to Kmart the other day, and I had to cut them off because I was worried about the bank account. They were really good. It was all stuff we really need for the warehouse and stuff we all had on a list to get. So a bit of fun there, but we're getting things slowly.
All right, what have you got for us, Bradley?
Well, I don't have any reseller stuff in my house anymore, so I'm going to have to show off a little bit of my collection, and there's probably a bit of dual purpose there, because I guess if you find this stuff and you're very lucky, great, and you might be able to make some money out of it, but it's just cool to show off these things as well. So keeping in the Bohdan category and the flipper category, I bought on a player issue jersey as well. So this is an AFLW jersey, and this is Aaron Phillips. And I'm not going to tell you what I paid for this because it's stupid money. But essentially, this market is really big, and obviously keep an eye out for it when you're in a thrift store. I collect this stuff thanks to Brad. Diver Flipper sent me a link to an auction, and I now have about 70 of these bloody things. But yeah, it's just really cool to see this stuff popping up more and more in op shops and on people's pages, because people can reach out to us, like especially Brad. He gets a lot of people messaging, and like either we'll pass them on to other collectors, like he did with the Fremantle one that popped up on the page today, or a lot of the time Brad will buy them himself, or if it's a Crows one, I'll buy it. But yeah, it's just really cool to see this stuff. This one here is actually a Pride jersey, so
yeah, it's nice that it's a rainbow.
Yeah, kind of got a bit more value to it. And Aaron Phillips is probably going to be the best female player that probably is ever going to exist. So I don't want to say I'm happy to pay what I paid for it, but I'm happy to have it because I'm never going to get another one. So there's that. And a little bit of just a bit of a show off, really. Just SNES International Cricket in the original box. Some big N64 SNES NES collector. These big box SNES games are worth a lot of money. I did have until I sold it. Had another version. I can't even remember what it was now. But stuff like this can be like well upwards of $500, $600, $700, $800, $900, and some rarer versions a lot more. So if you go to a garage sale, you see something like this, I'd probably dive on top of it and run away as soon as you possibly can, because you might get stabbed. But yeah, hot stuff. You can find this stuff. It is very hard. Obviously, you have to get the place early, but you never know when you're going to stumble across something. So even unboxed stuff like this is worth quite a bit of money. So yeah, very, very cool to have that in my collection, and probably one of my favorites because I played that game as a kid. So yeah.
I've never seen that box before.
It's one of the rarer ones. There's kind of like 5 or 6 that are quite hard to find. Obviously, that was an Australian release as well, because it's like cricket, like not many other places. Like America doesn't have cricket. So it was like reduced amount that were made. There's like a Killer Instinct one that I had that's worth quite a lot of money as well. But yeah, like they don't come up a lot, but you just never know when you're going to find these things. I actually got that at an auction, and I paid like $200 for it. So, wow. I mean, they're out there. Yeah.
Lots. Yeah, I mean, I grew up when, like, I'm at the right age for Super Nintendo, basically. So it's kind of, when you first showed that, I was like, wow, I've never seen that.
you see a lot of the like basic ones. I don't even know if I have one in here anymore, but yeah, like those big box ones are quite rare. And there's like a Mario version that has 5 of the Mario games. It's quite collectible as well. Again, they're rare, but I mean, the more you know to look out for. So.
All right. Well, I said I wasn't going to do a DVD every week, but it's not quite a DVD. It's a Blu-ray. So this is out of the haul. This was crazy. This blew me away. I was so excited when I found these. 3,000 DVDs. There was about 40 or 50 Blu-rays in there total. That was it out of the whole lot. I collect these imprint Blu-rays, and they're very limited, and some of them you can't get anymore. The guy there's about 130 in total. I probably should show them. The guy had 5 of these imprint titles, the limited ones, and I only need about 10 to complete the collection, and he had 3 out of the 5 were ones that I needed. And like I saw guys talking on the imprint Facebook page the other day. They were talking about this and saying they've never seen it for sale on eBay. Yeah. Like you could put whatever amount of money you want on it, pretty much. I'd probably get like 150, 200 for that if I wanted to. But like it's number 2, so they're all numbered. Yeah. So I think some of these are going to be people are going to start finding these in the next couple of years, like in thrift stores and shit like that. Like
what's the giveaway rate on them? Like how do you tell what they are?
I'll just make this bigger. So you got the imprint. It's all backwards. The imprint logo at the top, and it's at the date, and it's got the number down the bottom. Yeah. So they come in a slip case. I've got one that's open. So this one. So they come in a cardboard slip case. So like you can buy the standard edition. Like there's as many of them released as possible for like $25. But there's only like depends on the release, but there's usually between 1,000 and 2,000 of these released. It's an Australian company. I'll just go back to this. So yeah, if you find them with the number on it, it's got to have the slipcase. Even if you find the standard editions, like in an op shop for $1 or $2, you're gonna pick it up every day of the week. It's gonna get you $25 on eBay. So yeah, like I've actually got the standard edition of this one here. So he had both of these in his lot. So he had a lot of double ups. So the standard edition doesn't have the number on it.
But it's still imprint.
It does, yeah, and it doesn't have the slipcase, obviously. So it's the ones with the slipcase that you want to look out for. So yeah, I was so stoked to find these because I was thinking I was going to have to pay big dollars to get them. What do I like about them? So there's a lot of movies it's very random, a lot of the movies that are in there. And there's a lot of the movies in there that there's some that I like and I wanted. And there's a lot that I want to watch. They're just old movies that I've always wanted to watch. And there's a lot there that I didn't even know existed. And I see them and I'm like, wow, I want to watch that. And then because of like OCD, little bit OCD, once I started buying them, I just wanted to get try and get the whole collection. So, sorry, wrong number. I'm probably not going to watch this. Like, it's sealed and it's worth heaps of money. Like, I'm probably not going to enjoy it.
Even pre-owned, are they worth picking up, Wayno? Like, if they're not sealed, are they worth picking up pre-owned?
Yeah. Like, this is so this is open. He's watched this.
Yeah.
This would still go. I'm not really sure what it would go for. It might get $50 for it, maybe. Like, even the standard editions, if you saw them in the op shops for like $1 or $2, you'd pick them up. There's a whole like Blu-ray collecting is getting bigger and bigger by the day. Umbrella release a lot of these old classic sort of movies. I'll just show you. Just really old, like sort of cheesy sort of movies and stuff. I know Judder found a whole bunch of these like a while ago. Like, and he messaged me. He's like, "Are these worth money?" I'm like, "Yeah, put them up." Like, and he sold them pretty quick. They sell pretty good. Like they just, I mean, if I could find enough Blu-rays out in the wild, I doubt I'd sell DVDs because they're that good.
Kind of like goes back to that chat of like, you know, the more you know, the more you know. But there's like niches within niches that are worth like crazy money, right? Like that like I wouldn't have known to look for that apart from obviously the chat, you know, that we have. But like there'd be other bits in DVDs and Blu-rays that is like that as well. It's just like finding all those little niches and putting all that knowledge together, which is why this is so valuable, because without it, like you're not going to know to look for that in an op shop. You just think, oh, it's another Blu-ray. You're not going to know that it's worth potentially $100.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of the guys that collect these, they're not completists, so they only want the ones they want. So there are some that you'll find that are out of print. You'll still only get $35 for it. Like it may, I would assume the price will increase over time, anyway, if you wanted to hold them. But there's some like that one movie, Hard 8. I think it's Paul Thomas Anderson's first movie. It is so hard to get, and everyone wants it.
Hey, Octopus just drank, but he didn't drink.
I know. He's redoing it the whole show.
That was the first time I noticed it. I was like, that's I
was laughing.
These little clever touches that old Octo puts in the background that you don't pick up on unless you're paying attention.
There's a lot of secrets hidden.
There you go.
I gave a pretty big hint away last week, or last time I was on.
What was that? I can't even remember.
Oh, you'll have to go back and watch the video.
I'm not going to do that. Actually, I am going to do it because I have to. The last 2 lives, I've been cutting them up and just putting the funny bits on Instagram. I haven't done the last 2 yet, so
I probably won't be much in tonight. I don't reckon.
I found a time-coded first release VHS this week. I'm not. Do you mean like a preview tape from the video store? Like we used to get them in the video stores, and they always had a time code on them. You can sell them too.
Make sure you rewind it. They'll charge you 20 cents.
Yeah. Any vinyls stamped not for sale or media release can be worth a lot. All right, that's all the show and tell. We're like an hour in already. Like we've got. I don't know if we do a couple of the.
I think we've got a couple. I mean,
we haven't got many anyway. Magazine. Tash,
it's all right. I'm not dying of dehydration or anything. It's fine.
Just turn your camera off and have a sip.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I did have a sip. I'm hydrated. It's fine. Let's
go. Tash has put in selling magazines.
Never done it, so I can't say.
It's a very tough market, and there are some older stuff that potentially can do really well and very niche stuff that can do really well. Like we've done okay in a few categories, but it's one of those ones that you have to know really well. So it'd be like a niche that you would have to sort of research quite a lot, I reckon, to make good money consistently. And it's probably a reasonably hard category to find enough of, I'd say, to make it viable. That's my opinion.
What was the question again? I missed it.
Magazines, selling magazines. I think in bundle, you're probably going to be wanting to sell them in bundles more than.
I think you have to play seasonality. Like, I know someone that was doing knitting magazines and a lot of craft magazines in winter, so they'd bundle up in bundles of 10, and you'd send it that way. But you'd have to play seasonality.
Yeah. And I think there's just so many other options out there. Like even in just potentially books, that's probably one that. Like I'd say it's underrated, but it's also overrated because it's probably not something you really want to do.
No, that's right. Yeah, and you probably like with your craft books, right? It's very unlikely that kind of stuff's going to be reprinted. With your car magazines and all that stuff. People move on from that stuff once it finalizes. They move on. So
yeah.
Unless
it's like a very like niche category, and there's something like. Yeah, like you said, seasonality, or there's some sort of like hype news that all of a sudden becomes popular. Like it'd be a tough market. I'm sure there's stuff out there, and there's probably ephemera that sells for thousands of dollars. But yeah, how often would you potentially find that? I think would be quite difficult.
Yeah, I had someone offer me a bunch of like vintage newspapers, and I was like, it's really not something I want to touch. And sort of said to them, if you're wanting to deal with it yourself, like the reality is like, look for those highlight things of, man landed on the moon, JFK was murdered, those sorts of things, which was what they kind of went through and picked and prodded. But yeah, it's got to be something high profile, highly desirable for anything like that. That it's just, it's too much.
Is there anything okay, sorry.
Oh, no, you go first, mate. I was going to piggyback.
I was just going to say, like, in that sort of section, though, there are, like, RPG, like, guides and, like, Warhammer books and stuff are probably, like, worth looking at, and often they get shoved in with those magazines. So maybe have a quick flick, but, yeah, I wouldn't really put them in the same category as magazines. I personally don't think.
I was just going to say, newspapers, if they're old enough, you could angle them at people's birthdays. So you could limit, what I suggested to a guy at the post office when I was speaking at him, because that's what I like doing, is that it's basically create a website, and because he had like thousands and thousands of newspapers. Then you could just individually itemize them as people's birthdays and mark them as gifts. But like I said, you need bulk for that. You wouldn't be doing it for 20 or 30 newspapers.
Yeah. That's a whole different game, that one.
Calculator, how long?
I read that as Happy New Year for a second.
That's what I read it too.
It's like 6 months. Like, what's happened? Like, I know there's been a lot going on.
Show and tell went for a bit.
I carried the show. What can I say? I carried the show.
Small doses, Bohdan. Small doses.
Secondhand Gang Vic has put in the new eBay store videos. I haven't even looked at it. Like, I don't even know anything about it, really.
I haven't done it yet. I know other people who have. I don't really go look at other people's stores. Like, if I think about myself 2 years ago, before I was a reseller, I wouldn't have ever bothered looking at someone's store. I just look for an item, and I'm not going to be going looking to see, who's this person and what are they about? Now that I'm a reseller, I'm like, I like to look at other resellers' stores and follow them and see what they're doing. But it really seems to be that, I'd only be making it for other resellers who want to come and have a look at my store, I feel like, rather than for other people. Is the algorithm going to really push people who've done all those things? That's really the final push that's going to force people to do it, I guess.
Realistically, I think with what I was talking to Mel about was that you'd have to have an angle to do the video, because you just sound like a pompous prick. If you've got like an angle that you're playing, you can pretty much pump the video and go from that perspective. But just for the average Joe Blow, I wouldn't worry about it.
I don't even have a store logo or anything.
Neither do I.
I think it's realistically, unless you got like a brand or something that kind of you can flow through to everything and it makes sense. Like, I think it's just one of those things that eBay are trying to keep up with a couple other platforms, and they're trying to be like new and fresh. And maybe at some point it's going to be really important if they change the algorithm, but I don't feel like it's necessarily going to get you more sales for any reason. If anything, people might look at it and go, like, I thought these were like a professional person, and maybe they're not a professional person, or vice versa. And it could push people away. Like, I have no data on that, obviously, because I haven't done it yet. But I don't feel like it's going to make or break your store, essentially. I don't feel like that's something you should be focusing on. Like, do it if you want to, but I don't think it's as important as like listing and, shipping your items and all that sort of stuff.
Australian embroidery and smocking sold for $510.
Oh, right.
That's crazy. I needed to know. Barney, here you go, mate. Wayno repping the emo said only the first two albums, mate. They grew up. They grew up after that, and they started writing killer music. Fucking amazing band. Gates is probably one of the best guitarists in the world, to be honest. The Old Girlfriend and Dolly are collectible now.
Right.
Yeah, like the books go all right too. They get the bundles of the old Dolly books and shit.
You have a few under your
bed. We like the
Wayno?
Ralph magazines, Wayno.
Hey?
We like the Ralph magazines.
Or Zoo.
Yeah.
Toby, how you going, mate? A bit late.
Adelaide time, he's on.
It's rolling the door. He should have been here like half an hour early then.
Yeah.
Well, late. I don't know.
What else we got here? We got we've got a few. Brad's put in the 4 horsemen.
Overrated massively.
Underrated. We don't know what they're like. They're going to be amazing. It's going to be the most
there's no way. It's been hyped up for bloody 6 months, and I haven't seen one of them.
They're too busy launching the floods, mate. Leave them alone.
I'm not going to ask the octopus's question. Well, how come that octopus is really, really ridiculously good looking?
Must be amazing or something.
There's a couple here that we've already spoken about on previous shows, but we'll just quickly go through them anyway, in case people haven't seen them. Clinton's 2007 put in postal services besides Ozpost. I've talked about it heaps. I don't have Sendle anywhere near me, so I can't do it. Don't have any in it.
They're getting better. Like Sendle have started implementing like third-party couriers to get them to places where they usually didn't go. So they're getting better, and there is some good value in sending with Sendle. Like I sent 2 boxes to Chris, massive 50 by 50 by 40 for $32 each. So if I tried to send that by Ozpost, it would have been way more than that, and they wouldn't have taken it because it's 25 kilos. So
you can't call Sendle a postal service. That's the biggest thing. They're a consolidator.
Yeah, true.
So they don't have their own couriers. They don't do anything themselves. James Moody just figured out a way of essentially leveraging. Because I dealt with James when I was at Fastway. He was someone I dealt with, personally, and he's the creator of Sendle. And so they're a consolidator. But Aramex, Fastway, Star Trek, Toll.
Yeah,
realistically, they're not quite to the level. And I used to work for Fastway, but they're not to the level of what Australia Post is. It's just they're just not there.
Yeah, and I think the integration, like Sendle have now integrated it with eBay, but I think the integration across the MyPost business is probably the best, although still not perfect. I don't know. There's money to be saved in other places potentially, but you're going to be kind of going like one here, one there, one here, one there, rather than kind of just chucking it all in one and like saving yourself time. So is $2 worth saving for an extra 15 minutes work? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't have. That's like I say, I don't have it here, but I wouldn't use it anyway, just for the inconvenience, basically.
I find it's good for, I suppose, consolidation of stock. When I think I was telling you, Wayno, when I was in Western Australia invading over there, I got 1,000 DVDs, and I shipped them back in those boxes that Brad just said, and it cost me, I think it was $150. There's about $4,000 worth of DVDs in those. Yeah. So for the space of $300, I've got a shit ton of stock that'll do to doomsday until the horsemen come on at least. I've got a bit of time up my sleeves yet.
I think you're right. Like those bigger deals, and like we're kind of again getting ahead of myself here, but we're hoping that we're going to be able to do some wholesale stuff in future, and we'll probably be using a service like Sendle to do that, because you are doing bigger items that through Ozpost just wouldn't be viable for the person on the other end, let alone us being able to ship it at an affordable price. So
that's right.
I think there's value there.
Computer banks go well, but hard to find.
Yeah,
what a skewer. I had 3 years worth of Dolly in mint condition.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been getting into Oakley Dokley, The Simpsons. I saw them a few years. I didn't see them. I looked them up a few years ago, and didn't do it for me. And that's it. Christian put in another one that we've done before, I think. Telling thrift store workers you resell when they ask. I got no problems with it. I tell them if they ask me, I'll tell them. Yeah.
They ask me if I'm a real octopus.
All mine know. Like I've got a couple that I speak to regularly, and they know. I've got a store that kind of works with the op shops. She's not an actual op shop. She's a reseller store, which is really weird, but she gets like overflow essentially from a lot of the op shops. But she essentially holds stuff for me now. And so I'll walk in there. She'll have a bundle of stuff, and I can just I'll pay whatever she's asking because I know it's going to be good pricing. But yeah, most of them know, like they expect to see me. They know what days I'm going to be through, and they'll point me in the direction if they've got stuff that they know I'd like. So yeah. I'm all for it because you'll find the majority of them move stock.
Yeah. I think 9 times out of 10, definitely. Like I wouldn't probably go running into an op shop and yell over the counter, I'm a reseller, give me all your stuff. Like you need to develop relationships.
You put a balaclava on before you do that.
Yeah, well, that's another option, I suppose. The original reseller, right? I think you develop relationships. There's going to be some that are less happy with you doing that, and there's going to be some that are like stoked that you're doing with it. So you can read the room a lot of the time. Some don't work, but 9 times out of 10, they're happy to move stock. They want to get stuff out of their store.
I find that when it comes up, usually it comes up in conversation, and I find that when I tell them that I'm a reseller, the first thing I get from them is asking for advice on how much they should put this up for. Like, I've been asked heaps of times, like, oh, do you, or they'll point something out and they'll be like, do you think that's worth what we've got on it? Like,
and sometimes, like, just giving them that one piece of information, like, you might lose out on that one item, but it might get you in on like 10 or 20 other items that, are better for you anyway. So I feel like a lot of people don't want to do that, but at the same time, like, they still have to do work to sell that item. So it's not like pure and simple. Now they know that and they're going to mark it up. They still have to do work to sell it. So,
and I've done something similar where I pay up sort of once every 3 months or so in a couple of op shops for something, whether I need it or not, because it shows that I'm not just trying to find the cheap stuff to them. I'll really go and say, well, what's expensive that I can grab? So recently, like one of my shops that they're pretty high price. They had a New Era hat for $25 for OKC. It was in really good nick, so I was like, I'll pay for it. I normally only pay $5 or $6 for one of these, but I know it's going to be good because, like, Chrissy, the manager, will always point stuff out for me. She's let me out the back to look at shoes before they've been on the floor, like all that sort of stuff. And so it's that kind of little, like, I pay a tiny little bit here to get a lot of benefit and a lot of a good relationship. And so, you've just got to balance.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
There's a
lot of comment. Reseller has a stigma. I don't use. This is what I say. I run a small business from home online.
Yeah.
I never say I'm a reseller.
You'd be amazed how far that can take you by just sort of repositioning what you do, not just in op shops, but with other companies as well. Like, just sort of repositioning the way you talk about it and kind of making them feel like they're comfortable with what you're doing. Like, it's probably got us some of our biggest deals, to be honest, is just the way you talk to people and, like, just what's in it for them. It's not just about you, because if you're not giving them anything, then they're not going to come back to you. So how do you keep that going?
That's what I've been doing wrong all these years.
You mean throwing your tentacles around too much?
Oh, that's right. I just don't know which one's which. It's a bit of a mystery lot.
You have to choose which dick you throw in their face.
Oh, that's right, mate. It depends how much their prices are. They get...
I don't because I'm very friendly, but I feel weird about talking about reselling. It's not like I'm pretty open, just in general as a person anyway. I'll tell anyone anything.
Those pictures of your rashes, mate. I'll just stop.
Yeah, I wouldn't stress too much about talent. It's very, very rare that you're going to get a negative response when you tell someone in an op shop that you have your own business or whatever. I never get it. Like, I actually don't think I've ever had anyone in an op shop be dirty at me for what I do. They actually like it.
I think early days, like, I didn't really know how to talk about what we did, and that's probably when we did not get negative feedback, but it was kind of like a little bit harder to build that relationship. But once you kind of work out what is in it for them and you can kind of spin it in a way that's like, this is how we can help you, then they're like, oh, hang on a second, like there's value in this for me, not just the person taking the stuff. So it takes a while to build that confidence, I think, and it's not something that you're just going to walk into a store and, like I said, yell across the room that you're doing it. But
put it over the PO.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's
yeah, like we help. Like there's one that I go to that are awesome. They let me out the back whenever they get big DVD deals, and I just go through, take whatever I want, and they're $2 each, whether it's a box set or not, because they don't have to go and sort through all those ones anymore. Yeah. And it's right. For them, DVDs are like a second thought. They're just kind of garbage that they don't really want to deal with. So it's actually, they see it as, well, I am helping them by taking them all.
And if you find that thing that they don't want to deal with, and you're happy to get rid of it for them, then you both win, right? Like,
yeah. And this store is a true sort of charity op shop. Not like they're not paying staff and shit. They got the old ladies. The old ladies are, volunteer, and they all volunteer. So like, if I go out there and I get this big stack of DVDs that are worth way more than $2 each, I'll usually, she might be like $66, and I'll be like, make it 80 or 90 or 100 or whatever. Like, so that's you give and you get. So.
And it gives them a reason to trust you as well. Like if you're paying them like a fair value and you're giving them a little bit more than they expect because you know you're going to make more, then they're going to let you back there again because they know that you're going to be fair with them. Like,
that's right.
Yeah.
I identify as someone who repurposes old used things. Money.
Fair enough, man.
Hi everyone, I just wanted to say thanks for all your videos and advice. I'm moving back to Australia at the end of the year and looking forward to starting. Nice, awesome.
Good stuff.
Where are you coming back from?
Yeah.
UK.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I missed that.
Retro toys in the UK is nice. Yeah. That's awesome. I think we have one more and that's it. I don't really understand it.
Good.
Yeah. It's from Clinton's. I thought it do. Clinton's 2007 says eBay local pickup for easy items to post.
Does it mean like non-easy items?
Yeah, I know what he means.
I think he means easy items. I think he means, would you put pickup on a DVD?
A DVD.
I don't put pickup on anything because I might start doing it now that we have the warehouse, and it's kind of like I can have a bit of a separated area at the front, but I definitely don't want to be doing it from my house because I don't want people coming and going. Me have to wait here for them to come and then scan something so that I actually get my money. Like I just want to send it, get it out of the way, not have to wait for anyone, and move on to the next thing. So that's just me.
Oh, I'm sick of hiding the bodies.
They're piling up over there.
Yeah. They're washing away at the moment.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't do pickup. I get occasionally. There's a few guys around. There's one guy that bought a few things off me. So yeah, occasionally I'll get people around here will buy a DVD off me, and because they're untracked, I just go and put them in their letterbox. I don't have to have tracking.
Yeah. And I think 99% of people are too lazy to go pick things up anyway. Like everyone's used to getting stuff delivered to their door now. So the one person that might say miss out on your item because they want local pickup, I mean, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there'd be plenty of arms to help you carry it to the car. So
that's right. Yeah.
Post only. Yeah, I mean, I don't have I know some people don't like. I know a lot of resellers don't like marketplace because they don't want people coming to pick up. I've never had a problem with someone coming to pick stuff up though.
I don't even think it's necessarily the problem, but it's just the time aspect of it for me. I don't know. It's just
you're caught.
I mean, it depends on the value, but there's been heaps of times where I've said, it's on the doorstep. Just leave the money in the meter box.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem. I don't think I've ever done it for anything over $50.
Yeah.
But I've never had anyone dishonest or anything. I mean, you've got their Facebook account anyway, so you can call them out. But I mean, and it is a bit different, like for men. I've had a few creepy people. I've had a lot of women when I've gone to pick something up, and they've said to me, "Can you wait? I'll just wait till my husband gets home." And I'm like, "Well, that's fair enough. You don't know me." So yeah, it would be a bit different for women. Like, there's a lot of makers out there. All right, I think that's it. That's all the underrated or overrated we've got going on. I always forget to ask this when we have YouTubers on. You used to always ask this at the end of the shows on Whitewater Reselling, Brad. What have you guys got coming up on your channel?
What do you got, Bohdan?
Well, I've got to go out to the studio and actually upload, but I've got a What Sold Sunday from last Sunday coming up. So you would have seen I've done the Disney experience over the last couple of weeks, etc. I had someone on Instagram yesterday ask me when I'm going to get back to op shop adventures, and I'd love to do them more, but a lot of my op shops are like a 5-minute duck in as I'm running around with work now, but hopefully I'll be able to do something soon, or incorporate a little bit. It's just really difficult, so I'd love to do more. Thanks, Pufferfish. I'm trying. I'm really trying. You do what you can. Like I do have 2 big ones coming up that I haven't filmed them yet, but I picked up a box of wholesale lot from a guy in Victoria that arrived in while Greg was away. Now, Greg bought it with me. He's my mate. And we've been waiting till he got back from his holidays, and then I got COVID. So hopefully this week we'll film us opening that and going through it all. And then he's also got over 200 items that he's picked up from his holiday that we'll go through some key highlights as well and do some of that. So that's pretty much from someone who's traveled from, the south coast of New South Wales all the way up to sunny coast and then back again, and what he's picked up on the way there and back, and just a bit of that, like how much can you make on your holiday kind of idea.
Yeah. I just wanted to touch on something there you said, like about people asking for like in-store content. And I think for like resellers that do YouTube, that's really quite difficult to put together, because we're there to like make money on the thrift. So trying to film while you're doing that and actually getting enough stuff to make the money worth your time is quite difficult. And I think it's probably hard to see that from the watcher, like the viewer. Some people do them really well, but I found them the hardest videos to put together, because I'm looking at the stock and I'm searching, and I'm not filming myself searching, because I'm thinking about trying to find stuff to sell, not the video. Maybe that's just me being crap at what I do, but I think it's really hard for people to do that consistently. So I just want to put that out.
It's hard when you go into an op shop like multiple times and there's nothing there, and you're filming yourself and you're like, what do I put up? Like, what do I do? And that's the reality of a lot of the op shops, like where I'm at, that I can go to on the weekend. I can go there and film myself every weekend, but I'm not going to walk away with anything. It's going to be boring. The places I find stuff are normally the ones further down the coast or odd places, etc. Some of the other bits that I just don't have the time to strap a camera on, take it with me, do all of that, because it literally is like a 5-minute run in.
Yeah.
Grab what I can, jump in the car and keep moving.
And you are, if you're trying to film it properly, you're going to take twice as much time as you would if you're just doing a run through. I love seeing that content, but it is very hard to make well. I just wanted to throw that out there, because I think a lot of us get that pressure of doing it.
Yeah, that's the main reason Robbie quit, because he was getting way more done when he wasn't filming.
Yeah,
finding way more stuff. So I don't know if I'm speaking out of school there. I probably shouldn't.
No, it's true, because when you're worried about
struggle,
when you're worried about what you're filming, you're not paying enough attention to what you're looking at. You're just doing it. I went
to I can't even remember where it was. I went somewhere with Kel a few weeks ago, op shopping, and she's like, "Aren't you filming today?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Why not?" And I'm like, "Because I just want to look at shit, like for a change." You spend so much time just trying to get footage. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's where like the chest harness is great if you can have it well positioned and you can just go do your thing and you can cut it all down. Like I'm amazed at some of the American guys that carry their camera and they do everything. I'm like, how do you find stuff while you're carrying a camera? You just there's no way to do it. And I try and use the chest harness or strap it to a backpack or whatever. And that's where I say like I can't do a 5-minute trip while carrying a camera or trying to strap it to me and make that entertaining that 5 minutes.
And a lot of the op shops don't want you to be strapping cameras to yourself anyway. Like a lot of them are quite precious.
Or strapping anything else for that matter.
Yeah, well, apparently it's not ideal if you got big bulging bits all over and you're holding a button. But yeah, like a lot of them, I think we're in a different position to America where a lot of them aren't comfortable with that yet. So you have to be very careful.
A lot of the guys you watch in America, there's very few that are realistically make it over here that are under the 1,000 subs as well, or under like 1,500 subs. Most of the guys we're watching are all 20,000 to 200,000. So these are guys that are essentially making enough money from their reselling and YouTube that they can take the time to do it. They're full time, and that's cool. Good on them. And we'd all love to be in that same boat, but.
I'd argue that they'd be proportionate to what we are. So the ones like you see with your 600, 700, subs would be equivalent to their 15,000 subs over there.
Oh yeah, 100%. But their 15,000 subs is paying them a lot more.
Well, that's right. That's exactly right. But I'm just saying,
YouTube,
that's exactly right. Just the density of population.
Yeah. So
what about you, Octo? What's coming up on your Octo channel?
I got 2 subscribers now. I got to keep them busy.
Yeah, you've got to keep them entertained.
That's right. I might just send them some OnlyFans pics.
You get some big money on that. There's some.
That's right.
Spread those legs wide and
here's a preview already.
Oops. I'd pay for that.
That's all right. Yeah, I'd pay for that too.
Well, I haven't done a video for fucking ages, so.
Yeah, have you done every Sunday, Wayno?
Yeah, I know, but I haven't even been doing that every Sunday lately. Because I hurt my back or my rib or whatever when I was sick, so I couldn't really get out and about. And now I'm fine, but I've got this massive hole that I'm just working through every day. So I haven't been anywhere. So I've had not quite a few. I've had a few people ask me, "Are you still making videos?" So yeah, I am, but I filmed a tiny little bit yesterday. It's not enough for a video, but I think I'm going to use that, and I'm going to do a whole video for the DVD lot that I got, even though I've already processed like 3/4 of it and it's all put away. But yeah, I'll put that together, and I think I'm going to try and go down to Melbourne on Thursday or Friday and maybe film then as well, get stuck back into it. So I want to go back to the chat because I've missed heaps of it. This guy rocked up and didn't even care about that. I just wanted to get into players.
Oh man,
that's a no from me. I just tell them I have a camera mode. Let the man poo. Ponderous fish, disgruntled octopus. Next, we're gonna have the talking shit. Remember to do your post tonight. I didn't even remember that it goes up tomorrow. Yeah, so am I.
No, they're making it cheaper for us and easier, Wayne.
Yeah.
Easier.
Yeah, heard that before.
You're gonna have to work twice as hard, but you will get it cheaper if you do that. Get the new Ray-Ban glasses that have the inbuilt camera.
Yeah.
I've seen some Octo before. Did that come up as a suggestion when you were looking up whale penises?
Probably.
Yeah, when I love seeing you in the cars, it's not still full of DVDs, but it is. I actually took my car. Someone ran up my ass, so the insurance, I had to take it to the panel beaters last week. And I couldn't be fucked taking all the shit out of the back seat. So I just left them all in there. There's like 7 or 8 game consoles in the back seat. There's 2 VCRs, 2 VCR combos. There's all this random shit in there. But I got all the DVDs out. So like what Tash was referring to, that big puzzle that she bought off me. I delayed in sending it because I actually couldn't get it in the car because I had so many DVDs in there from the haul that I got, and I had nowhere to put them inside. So I was like, yeah.
Wayno's got one of those hoarders cars you see on the internet where there's just enough space for the driver to sit, and everything else is just full of rubbish. His is just DVDs stacked.
I just want to see a course on his inventory system. Start selling courses, mate.
Yeah, I will. I'll start up an Instagram.
This one's in car 1. This one's neighbor's car 2.
C1, passenger 1.
Yeah. Under footwell.
If you watch The Boys on Prime, I don't even know what that means.
It's called The Boys. It's on like Prime. It's pretty.
Oh, The Boys. That show's fucking awesome. I haven't watched the new series yet though.
It's good.
Yes, the what's his name?
Homelander.
Yeah.
No, the fish one.
Oh, the Deep.
Deep. Yeah.
The Deep. Yeah, the Deep. Just rush postage tonight to save on your bin. Yep. It actually happened. It actually happened. It was yeah. Me battery and me keys gone. So I can only open my driver's door and that's it with the key. So I have to reach in to unlock the other doors. So I'm trying to reach in and push past all these DVDs to open.
Now we know how you popped your rib out, mate.
Then I opened the door and they all just fell out of the ground. Because I went to pick up 50 DVDs off this guy, and so I didn't take bags of boxes or anything. I had an IKEA bag in the car full of game consoles. And that's all I had. I ended up buying like fuckloads of him. It filled my whole car, and we were just putting loose DVDs in my car and filling up. I think I put it on Instagram a little bit. So I had one IKEA bag full of DVDs, and the rest just all went in loose. So yeah, I was just hoping the door falling out.
If you ever get broken into, mate, it's JT.
Yeah. I don't think she needs to.
Oh, she's got a few.
All right, we'll wrap it up. We've gone pretty long. This is the longest one we've done it by far. Over an hour and a half. It's crazy. Thanks guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's super short notice. It was an awesome. Hopefully we'll do the 4 Horsemen next week. If not, we'll figure something else out.
We might be all 3 of us.
I reckon you're going to call them the 3-legged unicorns at this point because no one knows what's going on. They're more mysterious than the Octo.
It's going to be like probably a massive letdown by the time it actually happens. It's been built up so much, and there's just like probably people everyone knows. And well, there's one guy that no one knows, so it would be definitely interesting. So so thanks for coming on, guys. Thanks everyone for watching and jumping in again, and we will see everyone next week.
See you later.
Bye.